Hello, and today I'm going to do a video extending our repertoire with JQuery. Now, in this video, what we're going to do is do some Ajax, really simple Ajax, using JQuery. Now, you might be saying, what is Ajax? Well, Ajax is a technology that's used on a lot of sites these days, especially social networking sites, to load new content without the need for a page refresh. And this is super easy in jQuery. It's like a one-liner, the actual Ajax part. So it's basically loading content from another file into your page without needing a page refresh. I wanted to show you a good example of this is Facebook. So if we look here, I've logged into my Facebook and it says, what's on your mind? If I type something and click share, watch what happens. It fades out and then appears down at the bottom in a nice smooth thing without needing a page refresh. That's a good example of Ajax. And today we're just going to show you a really simple example of Ajax using jQuery to load another file from our server and stick it into an area on our page. So if we look at our example here, I've got just a video from YouTube and a page with a paragraph element. What we're going to do is we're going to load this video.php file using Ajax and some cool effects when we do it. So as you see, I'm using Firefox here, and we'll be able to look at Firebug once this is done and see that it's loaded our content. So when someone clicks on this list item with a class of, I believe, Ajax, it will go out and load that new content. So let's write down. What we're going to do is go back into our index file, and I've already written a comment for us. So let's just write the JavaScript that we need. So we're going to harness the list item with a class of Ajax, and on click we're going to abstract that into a function. This is also an example when you could use callback events. I'm not going to use any in this tutorial, but this is a really good candidate for use of callback events that I showed in the last video. So once someone clicks on that, we're going to fade out PL element. So if we look, there's this big long paragraph on the page, but we're going to fade that out to have some nice visual benefit and to allow us to have a bit more space. So to fade out the P element, what we're going to do is grab the p element, and then we're going to use what I believe is referred to in JQuery as a pseudo selector, and you can say in relation to what it is on the page. So we're going to say p first. There's only one paragraph element, but it's just being a bit more specific, the same as specificity in CSS. I'm going to say p first fade out and I'm going to say I'm going to give it a parameter of 3000. This is actually milliseconds, just so you can see it kind of happening. I could do a callback event here, but I don't know whether it supports callback, so we're not actually going to do that. This is the core Ajax bit. What we need to do is select an element to load the new data into, because all JQuery things users need one of those dollar selectors. You can't just load content onto a page. So I've already set up this empty div with an ID of load, so that's the selector we're going to use, and we're going to load the content into that div. And we're just going to say ID of load. That should do it. And the function we're going to use, the JQuery function dot load and all we're going to say is as a parameter put the name in the file, so it's in a relative path. So all I need to write in my case is video.php, and that should do it. So it should load our video.php file into our thing with an ID of load. I could also fade it back in, but I'm not going to in this case. And that should be all we need to do. If we just save that, go back over to our page, refresh. We didn't get any errors, so we're going to click that button. I bet you guys are probably all laughing at me then when you saw that in my code. And right after it's faded out, just as a precaution, I'm going to say to Firebug that function is complete. So this will give us help troubleshooting later, or we'll be able to see in Firebug when it's done what. So what we're going to do is use this console.log JQuery. I'm just going to say to our console fade complete, so we'll be able to see step by step what it's doing. And finally, once the new content's loaded, we're gonna we might as well use the same comment. But this time we're gonna say once that's loaded, I'm gonna say console .log and then I'll just say content loaded and end that statement. And those console.log things were just precautions. But now if we save it and go back into Firefox, and if we open Firebug so we can see those console.log functions, Firebug is an example of a console. So we're going to click on our testables awesome Ajax button. It's going to say that fade out is complete. It's going to get the video.php file as it says, and then it's going to perform our console.log function that said content loaded, because that get has completed successfully. So we've loaded some content into our page dynamically using JQuery. So that was an introduction to Ajax. Thanks for watching.